Nah, just a little bit more. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is our UFC OKC Post-Fight Show presented by RepTheAdvocates.com. My name is Eddie Law. We have Dave Rodriguez and our special guest, Dave Madden. Been a while since this actually. I don't think we've ever spoken face to face on here. I think we just speak on Twitter all the time. But for people that don't know Dave Madden, which you should fucking know Dave Madden at this point because he's the man. Go ahead and let people know where they can find you on Twitter and everything.
Yeah, Twitter at Dave Madden, and then just throw an extra M in there to make an MMA because it's clever that way. So go there, man, for sure.
All right, so we just witnessed a controversial finish in the main event. Of course, Kevin Lee, I guess, wins by submission of some sort. I mean, let's just get right into it. The fight for sure was going Kevin Lee's way from what I saw, right? He was Michael Chiesa's backpack for a solid minute and a half. In that one, working on the neck, trying to get in there. He got the neck at the very end, and I mean, I guess people could argue it looked like Chiesa was going to go out. It looked like Chiesa was going to tap. There was no tap. Chiesa did not go out. Mario Yamasaki, of fucking course, waves his shit off, and Kevin Lee gets gifted a win with Chiesa protesting, rightfully so. Dave, your thoughts on that ending there?
Yeah, that's heartbreaking when you see the fighter like a Chiesa pop up just like he did. I mean, wide awake, alert, he's ready to go. At the same time, I mean, Kevin Lee was getting the better of him. Kevin Lee did have a deep, right under the neck on him. I mean, you couldn't see it going much farther. His hands did start to drop. I kind of, like Mario Yamasaki, thought, oh, you're going out. But I'm not right there to stop it. And, his hands were still up. They were still, right there. But it did look like it was going that way for sure. So, but, yeah, man, your heart goes out to Chiesa for, man, because he popped up like that, So,
yeah. I mean, and earlier in the fight, and Aljamain Sterling on Twitter actually pointed this out, and right before we came on here, he pointed this out saying that, in the Kish Herrick fight, Kish, Herrick had a deep ass rear naked choke, and Kish got out of it. You never know what's gonna happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of a rough one there. But that's
a great point, man. You don't know what's gonna happen, so that's why you let him go out. That's why, man. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Dave Rodriguez, we're gonna go with DR here. I forgot we had two Daves on the night. Yeah. So DR, what you think, man?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a tough call for Mike Chiesa. I mean, there was a lot of stakes on the line. I mean, Mike Chiesa's in the top 5, or what is he ranked, number 6? And, Kevin Lee's on a run now. He's got 9 fights in a row. I think he's tied, with El Kukui now, and he's on a hell of a run at lightweight. So, key fight here. I don't know if they'll actually rerun the fight. It looked like Kevin Lee was, doing his thing in there tonight. And, that little exchange where they, it was kind of forced on by Chiesa, where he grabbed the neck and sort of DDT'd him to the mat. And it was a controversial thing, man. When I seen that Yamasaki was the official, I kind of thought that it could be a bit fishy if there is something, because there's always something up with that guy. I mean, where's Herb Dean? Big John was at Bellator last night, but officiating is always key, especially in this main event where it wasn't like, I take it for what it is. Kevin Lee's definitely the winner here. I don't know if there's whatever the appeal would be proper here, maybe just to run it back. But a tough break for Chiesa. Shit, man. It was a tough fight for him. He hadn't fought in a while, and for it to end like this, I think he'll be back soon. I think we'll see both guys maybe sooner than that Detroit card that they're proposing post-fight.
Yeah, and it was again, he pops right back up, just like Dave was saying. He popped right back up. He looked fine. It's such a fucking awful win. And okay, as far as an appeal goes, he can appeal if he wants to. He's not going to get that appeal going. We've seen better arguments lose an appeal, way better. And stuff that was way clear. This was clear, in my opinion, but we've seen even better ones get shot down. Even if he appeals, he's not going to get it. I think the right thing to do, rematch in Detroit, the way Kevin Lee was saying. I don't think Khabib will take that day. I think Khabib is focused on Tony Ferguson / Conor McGregor / anybody in that range. And I think it's going to be a run back here. I believe it'd be UFC 219, I think, at Little Caesars Arena, Detroit. I want to say, this off the top of my head, I don't remember 100%. But got a couple comments here on the YouTube, on the comments. Of course, you guys want to, questions, comments, whatever you want to do. On the YouTube comments, I have them up right here. I'll read them off. Shotgun says, number 6 lightweight in the world, and some dude who's never done jiu-jitsu throws up a rear naked choke, and ref just panics and stops it. Kevin Lee's actually got real good back takes and rear naked chokes, so it's not like he's new to jiu-jitsu. He may not be super crazy high level, but he's got very good MMA jiu-jitsu, which in my opinion is, you know, obviously different than your normal gi, no gi, straight up Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Given surname says it was a few seconds early in my opinion, but at the same time, Chiesa wasn't going anywhere. Yamasaki is always fucking up though, 100%. He constantly messes up. And Joker says no rematch if Lee gets a better option. And of course, Lee's gonna take the better option. Khabib says, yeah, let's do it. He's not fighting Michael Chiesa, so of course. So I think I was saying Dana White probably knocked himself out with a massive facepalm on this one. You know, and we'll talk about both events. We'll sort of talk about both events of what happened yesterday and then today. But moving on to the co-main event, Johnny Hendricks gets TKO by Tim Bosch. That's just the saddest shit. Some of the saddest shit, other than the BJ Penn fight and that, which we'll talk about in a minute. But that's some sad shit, man. You know, DR Johnny Hendricks misses weight by 3 pounds, and then loses to Tim Bosch, who is basically a bigger version of Johnny Hendricks, except with better discipline. What's next here for old Johnny Hendricks?
First of all, you called it right, Ed. I mean, Johnny Hendricks, I mean, shit, man, they at 185 still missing weight, and then showing up in this type of performance where I kind of like the fight, man. I low-key like the matchmaking. Like you said, it's sort of like a mirror image of Hendricks in there. And Boach is a beast, man. He's been around in the UFC for a while and fought some pretty tough bastards at a higher weight class, of course. And Hendricks, I mean, he's just a fat ass, man. You can see it in there. Really he didn't look in shape. He looked like he maybe had, you know, he had a hard time with an 85 cut, and magically somehow he used to make 170 pounds and actually held the title there. So Johnny Hendricks, I don't think we don't see him in the UFC again. I think there's a Bellator route I see coming in the near future for him. Unless, of course, he may just draw maybe one last fight in the UFC. I don't know how many fights left on his contract he has. So, but for him to get finished the way he did, he just got cracked, panicked. And Boach is a big boy, and he likes to finish dudes. He smells blood. So that's what he did. And pretty much may have put Johnny Hendricks out of the UFC for the last time. You know what I mean? So. I
don't know. In my opinion, Johnny Hendricks took himself out of the UFC by missing by 3 pounds. How the hell? You used to make 170. 170! Okay? And you can't make 185. What? Okay, that's just, it pisses me off. You know, people being unprofessional annoys the fuck out of me. But Dave, Johnny Hendricks, you know, people are like, oh, what happened to him? He can't, you know, he has no diet, no trainers that can fix his diet. He has no discipline. Some saying USADA. Some, you know, I mean, it's everywhere, right? We don't know what's going on with Johnny Hendricks. What do you think of if you could, you know, if you had a hunch on that? Like, what do you think happens to Johnny Hendricks, and what do you think happens next for him in the, you know, stay in the UFC, gets one more improbable shot, or, you know, off to greener pastures?
Yeah, I didn't see the live weigh-ins at all, morning ceremonial and nothing. So when people were saying he missed weight, I thought you guys were kidding. I thought people were joking. I didn't think that was legitimate. At middleweight, he's missing weight. So terrible. That's god awful, just like you're saying, Eddie. You know, terrible. So he needs to go. Bellator sounds like buffet. Let's go that direction. Bellator's picking up their own steam in their own way, and you know, maybe it's a better pasture for him. He could do a Hendricks weight, whatever Coker wants for him. You know, yeah, man, he's just not cut out for this. Like discipline.
And that's what it seems like. Yeah, it seems like it's a discipline issue. Could be USADA. You never know, right? But it's just, yeah. What do you think?
I mean, what did it like? If he had won the fight, I mean, what would it lead to? I mean, it would just lead to, you know, better competition where he would have got snuffed by somebody pretty badly, though. You know what I mean? So Tim Boach was the guy. So I kind of like low key like that they matched him up with Tim, and Tim did his job, and that's what he was there to do. So Tim Boach lives to fight another day, and Johnny Hendricks is pretty much off the Bellator at this point, I would say so.
That or retirement, dude. I don't even in Bellator, man. I don't see how you know, missing weight constantly is going to. I mean, what's next? Fight at 205 at 5'9"?
Yeah, 205. Yeah.
Fight at 205 at 5'9", 5'8". That'd be like me jumping in there at 205. Doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Mind you, I walk around at about 208. So I mean, I could easily make that weight. All right, Johnny. I don't want to hit that. I don't want to get hit by the left hand. Still legit. But yeah, regardless. So, you know, good old Johnny Hendricks loses to Tim Bosch. Tim Bosch, I mean, look, I'm a fan of fighters. Look, and I know a lot of people aren't, you know, they think that it's a Conor McGregor thing to call somebody out, right? I think if you're going to get the mic after a win, especially over a former champion, you know what I mean? Especially in his home state or college state, wherever it is for Johnny, you know, it's you got to call. I think you should call somebody out. He didn't. It's not the type of guy Tim Bosch is, but I wish he would. Right? Dave, if it was up to you, who'd you match up Tim Bosch with next?
Oh, I don't even know. But the calling someone out thing, there's even when you don't do it, if you do it like we're gonna get to Felice Herrig in a second, if you do it like she did, where she didn't even call someone out, but she called out the whole division, I guess, without calling someone out. So I guess there's a way to play that game without directly playing the game. I don't know what's next for Bosch. I do like him, like you guys are saying. Also, I've enjoyed him like throughout. I love the Kimuras he can throw down on people and whatever. He's great. What are we gonna do with him? I mean, the middleweight's deep. Is he even ranked?
I believe he really should be ranked after this if he's not. But I'm pulling up the rankings right now. But I mean, like I said, he didn't call anybody out. He's like, he's the kind of guy that will just take whoever they throw at him.
Yeah, he's not going to call someone.
DR.
So yeah, man, I don't know, someone who's kind of like maybe outside the top 15, who maybe is close to it, so it feels like a step up.
Ooh, I got one. Sam Alvey.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Sam Alvey. 14.
I'm in.
Yeah, I like Sam Alvey. I don't want Uriah Hall in there with him because Uriah Hall is iffy. Tyler Lates lost to Bisping. I think lost to Bisping, yeah. Vitor Belfort, who knows? What do you got, DR? No. You can say CM Punk some shit.
No. Dan Kelly.
Dan Kelly's is he 185 or is he 205?
Yeah, no, he's 185.
No, why not? Sam Alvey or Dan Kelly? I like Sam Alvey one because Sam Alvey's a heavy hitter. And
I like the Dan Kelly, man. The age thing, it feels like they're closer to age, maybe. I like the Dan Kelly.
They can help each other tape up. Dan Kelly uses all the tape in the fucking world. I'm glad he can though because he wins. But anyway, all right.
You know what? Had Boach have lost too, he might have been off to Bellator too. That's why it was a weird type of matchup here, where I mean, all of his fights or a lot of his fights are taking place in the UFC. But had he dropped this one, Johnny lives to get snuffed another day. Boach is out the Bellator on the other side.
I don't think so, dude. I think the weight cut thing is just that bad. I think had Johnny won with anything other than like a spectacular knockout, I think he would have gone too. You know what I mean? We could have seen both guys go. Who knows? Didn't Tim Bosch win his last fight though?
Am
I right on that?
Coming off a win.
Right. So it's kind of hard to cut Tim Bosch coming off a win, and then and then he gets one loss. I'm not sure how that would work, but
no, he lost to Souza.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he stepped up to fight Jacare.
Yeah.
God damn, that was a sad fight to watch too.
Yeah, but he beat Rafael Natal. He beat Josh Saman. So.
Yeah, so he was on a little bit of a win streak before he lost to Souza. All right, wait, like you said, DR, you live to fight another day. All right, moving on. The strawweights, Felice Herrig gets a decision win over Justine Kish. That was okay. Let's just get it out of the way. Kish did shit herself, okay? And the sad part is it's all over social media. Like this poor girl lost the fight and is gonna go on fucking online in the next few hours or tomorrow or a week, and it's just pictures of her, just people talking about how she shit herself. Yeah, it looks like it happened. Let's just look. I know Romero shit his pants and everything. This was pretty fucking bad. I mean, it was pretty bad, but I know TMC's already rolling with it. I think Deadspin's already rolling with that shit. Deadspin's quick with it. Dude, so it's all over the place. You know what I mean? Goddamn it. Anyway, but let's talk about the fight itself. Felice Herrig, she looked great. I mean, she looked great. And Justine Kish was super strong. Keep in mind, though, Justine Kish, as Dominic Cruz was saying during the broadcast, her technique was not what she just did not defend correctly with a lot of those things, right? She would roll the wrong way with certain, especially with Felice Herrig on her back. I believe, she was like rolling the wrong way. She was leaving her neck wide open. The way she survived, in my opinion, is she was that damn strong and athletic. I mean, at one point, Herrig had her back, and all she did was spin, right, twist her body, and she ended up in Herrig's guard. Herrig was on her back. So it was one of those things where you admired her heart and her strength and all that, but that technique needs work, man. But Felice Herrig, little pitbull, I thought she was done for a while ago. Now I think she's riding a win streak now. Dave, what do you make of this?
Yeah, like you were mentioning, the ways that she was escaping. I think without me training jiu-jitsu and having like a background that says, oh, I recognize exactly that perfect escape right now, that skill set's not in my wheelhouse, right? So I do rely on commentators, and I do rely on that in that sense. I can recognize like, oh, they're in trouble, or oh, they're not, and I can tell things. But like you're saying, I would have recognized it without, because she kept getting out. She kept escaping.
Yeah.
She looked like, oh man, she's screwed there. She's out. You know, each time. And then you know, the choke that made her shit herself. I mean, that was as deep as Chiesa's. And so, like you're saying, we should have let it go, because I don't know how she turned out of that. Like, how did she even do that? I want Luke Thomas to break down that in the Morning Analyst and see, like,
he will.
I don't know how much you're a fan of his or not. But anyways, just to see, like, I don't even know how that happened, because it looked done. We're in dire straits here. So fantastic performance by her. She was using her face as a defense a little too much. And but yeah, man, good for Felice to you know, bully another one when it seemed like after losing to Paige, we're not into it anymore. So
yeah, no, definitely solid good win for Felice. And like you were saying a little bit ago, she called out basically everybody. She says, whenever I call anybody out, UFC don't give me nobody, you know. So whoever at this point. DR, who do you put Felice in there with next?
Well, I think she actually earned the win earlier in the night by the name of Carla Esparza. I think that's the fight that probably would be next for her.
That's gonna be hard to do. Aren't they best friends? They spend like thousands of dollars in desserts and shit together.
Hey, well, if the ranking, I mean, they're gonna match them up. That seems like a good matchup ranking wise. But I guess like there's maybe a Michelle Watterson fight. Who knows? Paige Van Zandt doesn't have a fight too. I mean, I've been mentioning Paige Van Zandt and Pearl Gonzalez is a necessary book at this point where we're at in the UFC in 2017. So, but overall though, Felice Herrig, like you said, Ed, she's been on the run. I sort of counted her out a couple fights back. I know she's been steadily, you know, perfecting her craft. I think what was she just earned her like brown belt recently, didn't she, Ed?
I believe so.
So, I mean, she's been working hard, and, you know, it's showing in the cage. She's definitely going to get a pretty good opponent, like, next, indeed. I mean, she didn't really call anybody out, but they've been lining her up for some pretty tough gals. And, yeah, handing Justine Kish her first loss. And, I mean, she was very close to having that finish. I mean, that submission was super tight enough to where we all know what happened. So, but very impressive, though. So she won all rounds and was just very active and did her thing in there tonight. So, yeah, she's riding a streak. Give her a good fight though. On a good card.
The only other thing I would add with this one is the dudes on Twitter, when it's females fighting and they think for some reason that these ladies are going to go back on a Twitter timeline and go, oh, dude, they want me to mount him? Oh, let me get at this dude. Let me get it at my poker face. You know, so funny to see that. Like really, we're doing that, huh? All right, but.
I enjoy those tweets though. I enjoy reading that shit. I'm like, dude, like, come the fuck on, man. Like, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm just taking my shot, bro. I'm just taking my no, there's not a shot. Like, you're not winning any of this. Like, it's always hilarious. You know who gets it the worst is I think Paige Van Zandt gets it real bad. Like what was it when Paige Van Zandt got a Snapchat, right? And she's like, add me and whatever, and I'll add you guys back. And I was like, oh god, the flood of dick pics are coming your way, chick. It's gonna be bad. Yeah, that's pretty shitty, but anyway, so again, Felice Herrig gets the win. The Carla Esparza one was kind of weird. I like, I think Felice Herrig against, I mean, either the Paige Van Zandt rematch or how about Calvillo?
I thought
Calvillo's booked.
Oh, guess who?
Joanne Calderwood.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's coming up in a couple weeks, I think.
Really soon, yeah. So yeah, it's great timing, right? It's only a couple weeks apart, and Felice didn't look beat up, good to go, right? So yeah, that was one I was thinking of too. Was Calvillo?
If Calvillo wins, like I think she will, and not get damaged.
Or Ronda Marcos, she's out there too.
Yeah, Randa Marcos. Well, yeah, actually Randa Marcos too. But I like the Calvillo fight because they're both like ground specialists, and they're both very quick. It'd be to me, it's front scramble. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I train and everything, so it's fun for me to watch scrambles, especially when it's like tiny people. Because those scrambles, like I don't know if you guys ever watch like a tournament or anything. When you watch the heavyweights, like guys that I you know, compete with and heavier, those scrambles are not as fun. The little people, everyone under heavyweight, like mid, you know, with the mid heavyweight and light heavyweight and all that. Those people when they scramble, it's fun as shit. Especially those girls would be insane, be like Tasmanian devils fighting everything. But real quick on the YouTube comments, Shotgun saying Lee and Ferguson talking shit on the post show. I'm assuming it's Tony Ferguson and Kevin Lee talking to each other. And then Uncle Hank, I think he's talking about the kiss shitting herself, unfortunately. So I was saying going after the fetish market. Unintentionally there, dude. Very unintentionally going after something. All right. Let's see. There was 6 fights on the main card. All right. Joaquin Christensen gets knocked the fuck out by Dominic the Devastator Reyes. Not a lot of people knew about Reyes. I actually got to see, I believe it was on YouTube. I saw his last one was a head kick knockout, right? I'm not even sure. I mean, he's actually from your side. He's from your side.
He knocked out my friend, Powell. He knocked out my friend. Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah. Dave told me all about Dominic Reyes. So, yeah, Dave, let us know some.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Let us know who Dominic Reyes is, man.
I was going to say, we have the perfect guy to talk about this right now, Dave.
Oh, it's so bummed, man. It's like when you interview these guys and they, they're going on to the biggest stage that they've been on, really, and Jordan Powell's on a good run. He just picked up a regional belt, and I was all fired up for him, man. And yeah, he went in and with Dominic Reyes, and it was just the worst way possible. It was like Betch times 10, where he gets popped, he goes just the Kevin Mutombo thing, and then just the shin right after, and then dies. And my wife was watching as it's happening, and because I was like, oh yeah, here's Jordan, I talked to him, and she goes, like she didn't even know what to say, and I go, oh man, wait 10 minutes. And then next thing you know, dude, Sports Center has the gif up of, just squaring up on his head to get kicked off. So yeah, it was horrible, but yeah, he's okay. But yeah, that was a bummer. So I knew Dominic Reyes for sure going in.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And based on our conversation earlier in the week with Dave, that was my pick, and it was a perfect pick, and helped me, I think, win some pick'ems tonight for sure. Though factored in.
Dude, he's very good with left. It was a left head kick, the left whatever, and then he had the straight left that dropped JC, and then just on top, bam, 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 just finishing him off. I'm super impressed with this guy. His ability to finish fights quickly, anyway, so far. We put him against. Obviously, we're not gonna give him a top 5 guy. It's fucking retarded. We're not gonna give him a top 10 guy either. Give him someone in the top 15. Someone that's also developing, like maybe not developing, but someone that's not at such a high level, such like. Definitely not a DC.
Give him Cutelaba. Give him Ion Cutelaba.
I'm okay with that. He just fought though, right?
Yeah. The 205 has low-key monsters too. Don't forget Tyson Pedro's like another guy that's coming in there. So like the 205 is building steadily. I mean, the 20s range ranking-wise and then up, I mean, there's a lot of killers. But indeed, we'll see an outright title, an overall champion though in about a month's time though, guys. So 205 division just might get interesting here in about a month.
Yeah, real quick, talking about the Tim Bosch fight, Brandon Brown on Twitter saying Bronson just won, as in Derek Brunson. Give him the Barbarian. I'm okay with that. Totally okay with that. And then we got another question from Mikey TMMA, but we're gonna leave that one for the end of the show because that's a good question. All right, next fight up, of course, the Tim Means Alex Garcia fight. Tim Means wins by decision. This guy's out your neck of the woods there, DR, out of ABQ. He was frustrated. He throwing up his hands. He's like, "Hey, are we gonna fight or not?" Alex Garcia was. I mean, look, Tim Means held him back with that body punch, right? If you, especially with the tall guy, if you punch low to the body, as Dominic Cruz, I think, was the one saying it on the broadcast, but he was absolutely right. You punch him low, it's hard for those guys to get under that punch to take you down, right? And so there was not a lot of action. What do you think? What do you think of the fight there with Means and Garcia, and what's next there for your boy?
Well, what it comes down to with Tim Means, I mean, the fight that he thrives in is basically, when you get into a firefight with him, when you get in phone booth distance, and that's where he's most dangerous. And then especially in the clinch as well, which we didn't see a whole lot of clinch work in this bout, very minimal at most. So I think Garcia, man, basically he gassed out. His technique was good early. He landed some shots. Tim Means was able to work the body a little bit better and just mix it up a little bit. I mean, not really any much action. As far as I guess halfway through the second to third, but Tim seemed to pick it up, and like you said, he sort of went Nick Diaz style on him for a second there. So, but yeah, he had him backing up. He obviously he was gassed out, sticking to the game plan. Firas Zahabi in his corner, so yeah, he just didn't have enough gas in the tank to throw enough, and tried to wait a little bit too long. It seemed like from his corner advice from Firas. So with Tim Means, man, getting a win back in his hometown. On OKC, it leads to pretty good matchup, man. I mean, the matchup that everybody I think wants to see. I mean, I guess maybe if Donald Cerrone happened to lose to Robbie Lawler, they could do finally the Battle of Albuquerque, Tim Means, Cowboy Cerrone, and bring that to Albuquerque, UFC Albuquerque.
Is there any like plans for that? Have you heard of any plans for UFC go to New Mexico?
No, it's been a while. I mean, the last time they were here was the infamous Diego Sanchez Ross Pearson fight, if you guys remember that one.
Right, yeah.
So it's been some time. Yeah, so indeed they do need to make a trip back here, whether it's Diego Sanchez, like a final fight for him, or even like a Holly Holm fight. I don't know. They could really sell out any building here in town. The Pit, I say we do it at the Pit. I think it's time. I mean, it's definitely time to bring back a UFC card to Albuquerque for sure.
Definitely. Now, Dave, with Tim Means, obviously, coming off the Oliveira fights, finally gets to fight somebody new, and he gets the W. He needed this win. What do you think here of the Dirty Bird?
I'm normally just more impressed. He normally seems just more aggressive. He seems more willing to kind of throw that caution to the wind. I mean, Garcia, dude's built like a little tank. I get it. I mean, he's got power probably more in his pinky than I do in my whole fist. I get it. But to be that fearful and that cautious, it just didn't make sense to me. It seemed like he had a reach maybe on him. And I don't know. It just seemed like he only had that jab going. It felt very GSP, Josh Koscheck, like we're going to jab you. And he didn't even, break his orbital or anything. So we didn't get anything out of it. So, yeah, I just was a little disappointed in Means. He normally delivers more. So I don't know what's next. I mean, let's keep going up the ladder. But I know he's more capable. There had to be something going on where he was more cautious than usual. Because he doesn't give a fuck, man. He'll flat out cheat if he has to, man. Remember that one? I forget who he was fighting, but he's getting taken down. He reaches over the top of the cage and just grabs it, and they ask him in the conference, they're like, what did you know? Blah. He goes, you get a warning,
Yeah.
You know what he's doing. So anyways, man, that idea of if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And I know he wants to win. And he just didn't seem to bring it like he normally does. So I was a little disappointed overall.
Yeah, I thought the fight would be way more exciting because just like you said, Tim Means kind of throws caution to the wind. But Alex Garcia wasn't going to allow that. And first of all, Tim Means doesn't want to be taken down by anybody. He hates getting, what's up?
I also, I think what factored in, guys, what happened with Tim last time he was out there? He got finished by Cowboy Oliveira. Tim Means is not a guy to get finished in there, so different game plan here where we didn't see the normal Tim Means approach, but he just wanted to get the win. He was back in Oklahoma, his hometown. So I think very much that kind of somewhat, factored into the performance, so. But hey, it's not one of those Tim Means fight of the night bloodbath. So we would have loved that as far as the way the card played out. So yeah. But then again, matchup Tim Means with I don't know what's that guy's name? Nico Price. Matchup Nico Price and Tim Means. That's a hell of a fucking fight.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. And as far as let's say they did Tim Means against like a Donald Cerrone or somebody, I mean the earliest that would probably be early next year, maybe. But it's plenty of time for them to rest up and train. So why not? Fuck it. All right. And the last fight on the main card, it's a sad one for me, for everybody actually. Anyone that's a BJ Penn fan, anyone that's an MMA fan knows who BJ Penn is, knows a legend, the legendary living legend walking among us in BJ Penn, and he loses the decision to Dennis Seaver. And people were asking me, was that the worst fight you ever seen BJ in? I'm like, no, the worst beating I've seen BJ in was that Yair fight, okay? The saddest one before this one was the Frankie Edgar fight, but Frankie Edgar is a high-level fighter. No disrespect to Dennis Seaver, but Dennis Seaver is not Frankie Edgar. He's not even a mid-level fighter, in my opinion. He's a low-level guy who they throw at people just for a fight, right? And he loses the decision to him. That was the saddest fight I think I've ever seen. It's one of those things where you're like, come on, BJ, just someone in his corner throw the towel with something. Like, just get him out of there. There's no reason for him to get. I mean, he got his legs chopped up left and right. You know what I mean? He was getting decked left and right. I don't know what the hell BJ Penn was thinking going in there. But you got to give it to him. He's a warrior, and warriors fight, right? They don't always win, but they definitely fight. Dave, your thoughts here on BJ Penn?
But I guess that's the thing is they fight, and BJ, I get it. He went out a little bit, but it's more. I wonder if he just wanted that rush, dude. That feeling you probably get getting called out, going into your music and doing your thing that you've done and you've been just praised over. You know, that has to be something even more than anything we can comprehend, like a willingness to die for that feeling, you know, like an addiction. So that's what I think it is. He is obviously a warrior, he is obviously a legend, but man, to go out like that, dude, I was, after the first, like, I think it was 45 seconds of that fight, I'd go, oh man, this isn't good, man. I mean, he just didn't even look good. The Seaver looked terrible. That looked terrible. That was terrible. And yeah, to see him leave on that fight and that loss, and just what a bummer. So I'm a huge BJ Penn fan, but he needed to just stick to his training of carrying the rock underwater, you know. Yeah, that was sad. That was a bummer.
DR, was Greg Jackson in his corner tonight?
No, he wasn't training with Jackson this camp.
Well, where'd he go? He went home?
I think he was training with the Ruka people, right, in California, and doing some stuff
really?
back home in Hawaii, I believe. Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, he was at Jackson for his last fight. That didn't work out too well. So.
No, not at all.
All right. So, what your thoughts here on BJ Penn, man?
Sad thing, man. I mean, we just seen the last emperor slept last night, and now we see the great BJ get taken out. Not taken out, but I mean, he got pieced up, man. I mean, Dennis Seaver, you know, busting him up pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's a Dennis Seaver that we haven't seen in like how long? 2 years since the last time he fought.
Been a minute, man. Been in a minute.
And they basically pulled this guy for BJ to win, for BJ to maybe just go out on a win, an impressive one at that. But I mean, BJ did look okay in the sense of that, you know, it's fighting Dennis Seaver, but Dennis Seaver fought the same style that he fought in 2009, and he busted the fucking shit out of the great BJ Penn. So it was sad, man. I don't know if this kind of leads to, like, I mean, you guys are already, you know, touched on it a little bit. I mean, does this lead to we never see BJ again, period, or we see BJ Bellator? We know that the senior league is active, and a couple of those fights have taken place already. So you could probably chisel BJ Penn in against whatever name, throw him out there. So I don't know, man. I just knew that, like Dave said, a couple minutes into the fight, it wasn't looking good, and Dennis Seaver was actually going to just, you know, take BJ to a decision and really just put a beating on him. And BJ had some moments in the fight where we kind of seen, I mean, we defended the takedown. He has always been a guy that's pretty tough to take down, a wizard on the ground. Wasn't able to do anything to Dennis Seaver in this fight, so that was pretty shocking. But we know where we're at with BJ. It's clear, and we just don't know if that's the last time we've seen him compete, whether it's UFC or just period as a mixed martial artist.
Yeah, I personally, and Dave, you can you know answer this too. Personally, I think BJ Penn needs to just retire from MMA and just jiu-jitsu. I mean, is there anybody, as far as Americans go, more legendary than BJ Penn in jiu-jitsu on the ground? I mean, what is he? He took 3 years to get it to earn his black belt. You know what I mean? He got all that going for him. I mean, do some submission underground, do EBI, something like that. If you really want to keep competing, if it's just competition that he wants to just, you know, get the competition going and get his juices flowing and all that. Jiu-jitsu. You're not getting knocked out. You're not getting kicked. You're not getting, you know, embarrassed in a cage. You know what I mean? Instead of using the skills that you had for so many years already to do, you know, a beautiful art, a beautiful fighting style like jiu-jitsu. So I mean, that's kind of what I hope for BJ Penn. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, that's a great call. It's funny how you bring up the jiu-jitsu. That's what's always brought up. He's like one, you know, the narrative of getting his black belt as an American, all that. And then it's brought. When's the last time we saw him on the ground?
Exactly.
I mean, even touch the ground, where he's there for even on his accord. And when he is on his back, he's like, "I'm happy to be here." He's not like fighting for a triangle, or he's just. It's so odd. So I want to see that, just because knowing this tale of his jiu-jitsu life, and we haven't seen it in forever, and we know it's there. He has crazy dexterity. I mean, we know this about him as a practitioner, but we haven't ever seen it. And I would have to like go back at all his fights, dude. I mean, it's been so long though.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
that's a good call, man. I think that's a good call.
Yeah, I'm hoping, man. I hate to see guys like him get beat up. It's like when Chuck was still fighting, he was holding on too damn long. You're just like, dude, stop. Mind you, that's a guy that fell in love with his striking. But Chuck Liddell, I believe, was a wrestler, right?
Like a high school wrestler, a little bit in college. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, okay, yeah, true. But he came in, he fell in love with his hands. Turns out he was really good on the hands, but he kind of never went back to that wrestling style of any kind. So kind of sort of the same thing, in my opinion, for BJ Penn. All right, a couple more things before we get to the question. The pretty good question we had on here. Clay Guida gets a decision win over Eric Cote.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's your boy. What do you think about that, DR?
Hell yeah, it was a classic moment of the night. A classic Carpenter Clay Guida beating. Clay Guida, he's still around, man. I mean, at the level he's at in his career, I mean, like I mentioned to you, Eddie, and Jesse, and everybody that you know in our DMs, Clay Guida's been wrestling Darren Elkins during this camp. So, you know, I mean, like up against Eric Cote, that definitely showed, and that's Clay Guida's style right there. And it's cool to see Clay doing those things this late in his career. And I guess, I mean, Eric Cote's not no chump in there, you know what I mean? So I think Clay Guida can go on maybe a decent run and rack up a couple of wins at return to 55, of course. You know what I mean? Clay Guida was a devastating cat at 55 in his day, and he's always a guy that's if you want to be somebody in the UFC in the lightweight division, you have to go through Clay Guida. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, that was a cool moment. It was like a classic little. I mean, the card ended up being somewhat of a shit show, but that was like kind of low key my favorite moment of the night. I've seen Clay, like we had talked earlier in the week, me and Dave Madden, just an old fashioned classic woodshed beating from the Carpenters. So.
Yeah, do I get to stake any claim in him? I mean, he's out of Team Alpha Male now too, so
you could NorCal.
Something I was going to bring up with him was I thought it was interesting. I mean, looking back on his time where he was like solely with Jackson Wink. Remember that fight where I almost found myself like saying, how do I not like Clay Guida right now? But it was because he was doing that bouncing shit. Mm-hmm. Remember? I mean, he was like up and down, and then he didn't do anything. Who was he fighting? I don't even remember the fight, but
that was his worst performance. And I think you're talking about the time he fought Gray Maynard.
Oh yeah, Gray Maynard. Yeah, it was terrible, and that was like this great scheme cooked up by the Jackson Wink camp with him. And I thought that's a game plan. So yeah, no, I thought he's definitely been evolving since that with that idea of a game plan. But anyways, so he's obviously put it together in a way to go back to that Clay Guida we knew of, bringing him down, and just I thought he would because he didn't get the finish. It was a decision, right?
Yeah, decision.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get the finish at a point. So yeah, I thought that would have been even better for him. And then what pissed me off too, the Fox Sports 2 thing, which that's a whole thing in and of itself.
Yep.
But this is what pisses me off with the UFC. They're so inconsistent. And then they have a shitty fight that goes to decision. And then we spend time. Dude, we talked to Dennis Seaver for how fucking long?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Shut the fuck up. Why are we talking to Dennis Seaver still? So, and then Clay Guida, he doesn't get any mic time, like not even a second. So,
not even a burp. Nothing.
That got on in between the rounds, yeah, which is funny. But good for him. I mean, he looks at the camera, he's like, no mic time? Psh, whatever, man. Like, he's so stupid.
Yeah, it's all kind of the broadcast question. I mean, what else if I didn't get it? Tim Means didn't get no mic time either, which, I guess it depends on the fight.
I forgot to bring it up with you guys. Did you guys notice in the middle of the fight, the Chiesa Lee fight, did you guys notice the 12-6 elbows that Yamasaki missed too as well?
Like 3 of them? 4 of them?
They caused a couple cuts on top of Chiesa's head. So, I mean.
Yeah. And actually.
So not only did he fuck up the stoppage, he fucked up with some 12-6 elbows too as well. Go back and check that shit out.
Well, I saw even behind the headshots because people were like, oh, man, his hard chin. It's like, dude, the back of his head's hard as hell, too.
Yeah.
Because it looked like it to me of quite a few. So, yeah, man, I agree.
Yeah, and hold that thought. We're going to talk about that actually in a second. Let me just run through the rest of the results here. Marvin Vittori, Vitor Miranda basically pieced him up. Carlos Barca wrestles her ass to a freaking win, which honestly, I don't enjoy watching her at all. So get mad at me if you want to. Devin Powell drops the decision to Daryl Horcher. Jared Gordon knocks out Michael Quinones. Actually missed that fight. Tony Martin gets the decision win over Johnny Case. Kind of disappointed in that. I actually like Johnny Case, and I want to see him win, but fortunately that didn't happen. And Jeremy Kimball kicked the whole night out. Everyone thought the night was going to be great when Kimball got that knockout on Josh Stansbury, and it was like at a high, and then the rest of the way. So kind of sucked for that. All right.
So basically, you're saying Bellator won this weekend.
Nobody knows, and we're gonna talk about that in a second for sure, because everyone was okay. Remind me to talk about that, because I was pissed the fuck off last night about that, but I'll talk about it in a second. Real quick. So the question about the main event, at Mikey T MMA, it's at Mikey J Thompson on Twitter. He said, question for tonight's show: should refs face some sort of punishment for stopping a fight before the fighter taps? We don't see any refs whatsoever face any kind of punishment for their mistakes, right? But Jason High bumps a ref a little bit when he's in adrenaline, and he gets banned from the UFC. Emotional stuff, right? You can call, to me, those are mistakes, because if you're asking a fighter to get in there and act civil during a fight or after a fight or whatever do with a fight, that's kind of asking a bit much, right? But refs make mistakes, and it seems that they don't get reprimanded. Now, I don't know if you guys do, if anything behind closed doors as far as the commissions go, if there's any kind of reprimand for these refs. But I mean, this is a constant fuck up with Yamasaki, and Steve Mazzagati's another one, right? We constantly get these refs that make mistakes over and over again, and it's like the fans get screwed, but the fighters, their lives change because of this. Kiesa wins tonight. He calls out, Tony Ferguson, someone in the top 5. For sure, he calls somebody out in the top 5, right? Instead, he gets screwed basically out of at least you took away his choice to tap, basically, or go out. You took that away because you assumed he was going to go out or he was going to tap. Sort of bullshit. Let's start with you, Dave. Do you think refs should face some kind of punishment?
Do in baseball or football or something, do refs have a punishment?
Oh, man, I want to say there's some kind of like reprimand, but it's usually behind closed doors.
And that's just my point is, I mean, we're all human. These things are all going to happen. There's all these mistakes. I think the frustration lies, and everything is so ass backwards. And today's the unified rules of 2016. Yesterday was the Bellator New York rules of they don't know what the fuck they're doing until someone who does says, hey, here's what you do. So the sport is so, dude, last night I'm at an event, and in California, whether it's whatever, dude, a championship fight's supposed to be 5 rounds. The first championship fight is 3 rounds. It is stopped in between the first round halfway through because the ambulance had to take another dude to the hospital, and it wasn't back yet. And so they didn't realize it, and then said, oh, wait, we have to wait and stop till the ambulance comes back. Stop fighting, guys. Hang on.
Really? Oh, shit.
Yeah. And so that's the age we're in. And we're so far behind that one fight can go 3 rounds. The next fight, also a championship fight, went 5. So I know we want to take the heads of these refs, and I know it, and some of them kind of deserve it. I mean, Mazzagati, man, he's terrible. There's so many other ones who are so bad. So I don't know, man. No, we can't find them, but they need to have more stringent training. They need to be brought up the ranks somehow like a fighter, because I know these cut men who, I talk with, or refs I've talked with, they work these ranks like a fighter to get to the UFC. So I think there needs to be a strict process, and then you work your way up, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. DR, what do you think?
Oh, it's definitely a commission-based thing. I mean, wherever there might be. I mean, if it's international cards, then it could be even trickier. I mean, we've seen Vitor's uncle overturn the fucking call. Calvin Gastelum tested positive for marijuana. So, but it's a tricky thing, a weird road, because actually I wanted to mention too, not only did we see some fuckery tonight with Yamasaki, we actually seen it last night in the Chandler and Primus fight, where they just stopped the fight mid-fight, just called a stop to it. And basically Chandler was, TKO'd, or by injury TKO. And they stopped the fight and then tried to actually, get the fight back going. And it was, of course, in New York. So some controversy there. So we see it from time and time again. But at the end of the day, we like to see our best officials in there. That's why tonight, when I seen that Yamasaki was the official for the main event, I just had that feeling as a hardcore and a longtime fan of watching the sport. I like I said, it's Big John. It's John McCarthy for me. But there's a lot of others that do a very good job. But it's a tough call sometimes, you know what I mean? But it's always good to make the best call. And then if you can't, if it's not indeed your best call, then you got to make a good excuse on why it was like in the best interest of the sport, I guess, is the way they do it. Because last night we see Michael Chandler clearly couldn't compete. I don't know why a necessary stoppage to the fight was considered or even, enacted by the referee there. And then, on to Brent Primus just being the champion, where who knows, Michael Chandler could have came back and won the fight. And basically Primus was the champion. So controversial over the weekend, and concluding here with the UFC main event, even more. So yeah, I guess Bellator wins, right, Ed?
No, they don't. Anyway, nobody wins. In fact, I'll tell you that right now. Nobody won this shit. No, but regardless, real quick on the wrestling before we move on to that Bellator versus UFC thing. Look, they're human, 100%. It's like we're gonna find them. We're not gonna find them. We're not gonna suspend them. It doesn't make any sense. Definitely some kind of retraining, I think. John McCarthy and Herb Dean, I think, have their own schools, like reffing schools and all that. Something like that. I'm not saying humiliate them and make them go through day one again. I'm saying a refresher course. Go sit with Herb Dean. Go sit with Big John, watching the fight, the entire fight, and then to the very end moment, and be like, look, just tell me what you thought was going on. Okay, why'd you stop it? Okay, here's what you went wrong, and here's what you need to do for next time, right? Mistakes could happen again. You never know. But I think at least education will help these guys think next time. It's like, hey, last time I was in this position, this happened. Let's try this. Let's be a little more clear this time. So, yeah, definitely, I think a re-education type of process would help.
And of course, like, fighter safety is the main focus. Let's not get that twisted, because and in the case of Michael Chiesa tonight, I guess the argument would be that we've seen guys choke too long, guys and girls in there, but I mean, it was a weird one tonight, guys. You got to admit, we've seen a lot of them. Tonight was a strange one, with some, titles, somewhat implications on the line, big ranking positions on the line, I guess you could say. But tough call. I don't know. I guess rerun it. It's a weird one, man.
It's got to be a rerun on that one. All right. As far as Bellator versus UFC, and this is what bothers me, because and actually saw this tweet out earlier, and I think earlier today, saying Bellator, because everyone's making a big deal about how UFC guys are going to Bellator, right? And this dude made a good point, and I wish I remember the Twitter handle. And when and if I do, I will retweet you and all that. Believe me, I'm gonna go look for it after the show. But he said, Bellator isn't taking guys from UFC. They're doing like Netflix reruns. They're taking reruns from the UFC and putting them on like Netflix does. It's exactly what's going on, right? We got literally part 2 of Bader versus fucking Davis. It was the exact same fight, like to a T. You know what I mean? Split decision win for Bader, except this time it was some belt on the line, right? It was pretty bad. So, of course, people were like, "Oh, you're being a hater," because I was talking about how Bellator was kind of a dumpster fire. To me, it just did not meet the requirements of a pay-per-view. It did not at all. So anyone that spent money on it, sorry, I try to warn you. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. You got 2 UFC guys in the main event who are way past their prime. Of course, no matter what happened in that fight, it was going to be entertaining because they're in the same level, right? Have you put either one of those guys against the guy that just came out of his prime, just a little bit after their prime, and both challenge still will get knocked out or finished at some point, right? But by someone in their prime, definitely. Someone just out of their prime, definitely finishes both those guys. And then Fedor, I mean, come on, we saw Fedor against Maldonado. I don't have to say anything else. Okay? I don't have to say anything else on that one at all. Matt Mitrione, all the credit to that dude. He's a legit heavyweight. But that double knockdown, I don't know, Dave, if you got to see that on Twitter on a GIF or something, but there was a double knockdown. And at that point, whoever got it faster won the fight. Mitrione got up, finished the fight. So it's as far as the Bellator win the weekend, the UFC won the weekend, nobody won the weekend. It was just fucking awful all the way around. Seriously, it was awful all the way around. I mean, what up?
It leads to more, like you said, Netflix reruns with, what happened with BJ, Johnny Hendricks in the mix now. More reruns to come.
I'll tell you what, and I'm not sure if it was you that mentioned it or someone else on Twitter. I think it was you that said BJ Penn against Royce Gracie in Bellator. That could happen. That could be a thing, ladies and gentlemen.
That's very much going to happen, man. You
know what? To make matters worse, Johnny Hendricks versus Josh Koscheck rematch in Bellator.
Josh Koscheck can make a fight, dude. Come on now.
Well,
like Kos, I like Koscheck as far as when he fights, but goddamn it, dude, like he can't make a fight. All right, so anything else you guys want to talk about before we end this?
Do they rob Kevin Lee of his performance of the night bonus because of the controversy?
Yeah, he didn't get no. Unfortunately, There's no way you can give a bonus on that, can you?
I don't think he would have got it anyways, just being a controversial thing. I mean, I can't think of a time someone got a bonus unless they both got it on such controversy, you know?
Yeah.
I say Reyes, he's deserving of one for sure. Dominic Reyes. I don't know who else is getting it, but I haven't checked into it, but he's one of them. But if anybody else was going to get one, I thought it would be, indeed Kevin Lee for sure.
Yeah. I don't think they're out yet. I think they're still doing the presser right now.
Okay.
I think they're still doing the presser.
Well, while you're looking at that, I guess the only thing I had with the Bellator versus UFC thing, I think what's happening is I mean, I noticed for me, someone who I sat through 10 hours of fights live, which I mean, is 10 times more fun, when you're sitting right there live with this stuff. But sit through 10 hours of that, drive home for 2 hours, don't get home till this morning, I slept in my media badge. And, you wake up, you do your thing, and then you watch fights for another 6 hours. And I think what's happening is UFC giving a card like UFC Oklahoma. Yeah, man, I'm interested in Chiesa and Lee. That was a sick matchup, man. I was fired up for it. It's becoming like an episode of Tough, where you don't watch the first 45 minutes and you tune in for the end where the fight is. So I think that's kind of what these cards are becoming, where I won't tune in until that fight, or whatever. And I know how to time them out in a sense, one fight every fucking hour. But in terms of Bellator, man, if you're going to give me a product that is impossible to find, it's sometimes blacked out. It's just so big but haphazard that how am I supposed to enjoy that and consume that? Mm-hmm. And I'm a hardcore, man. I'm a hardcore. And what's going to happen is I'm going to just sit there and focus on I'll watch a NorCal Ami fight and do a little article on it or some shit, because I feel like I was a better use of my time, and that dude's enjoying it, and I had fun writing it or whatever, and that's just too bad, because they could have some good shit. They just got to make it accessible. So they both lose, dude. Fox Sports 2, you lost me. Bellator delay, you guys lose me, and step your game up.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Now I got the bonuses here, and I can't believe it. Jeremy Kimball gets a bonus. Reyes, what's his first name again? They didn't put his first name.
Dominic Reyes.
Yeah. Thank you, Dominic. I always remember because it's a Devastator instead of a Dominator. But Dominic Reyes gets 50K. Tim Boach gets 50K.
Oh, shit.
Kevin Lee gets 50K.
Oh, wow.
Generous tonight, giving Tim Boach 50K, right?
Here's my question. Where's Felice Harris 50K, motherfuckers? That was beautiful jiu-jitsu, assholes. It was transition after transition. That she was just smoothly going through. She got screwed. My opinion. I think it should be fight of the night, maybe. I don't know. But they should be fight of the night, but it's not. It looks like they didn't give any fight of the night. Just four people got 50K for performances. So that's what a weird night, man. For real. All right.
Hell yeah.
Anything else you guys want to talk about before we head out of here? Nothing?
We got a break from MMA for a week, right? But we will be back Wednesday with the Advocates.
Yep. Wednesday with the Advocates. I think no MMA next weekend, like you were saying. And this weekend. Right?
Yeah, the next card is the Michael Johnson, Justin Gaethje fight. Finale.
That's gonna be that fight alone is gonna be fun for me because Justin Gaethje's crazy. But I've seen him fight in person twice, and he's as insane as he looks. As far as when he's fighting, he's as insane as it looks for sure. All right, Dave. Again, let the people know where they can find you. Of course, if you guys don't know, he is the guy in NorCal MMA. Just give all your stuff, man, so people can start checking out some NorCal MMA.
Yeah, check that out, please. It's at NorCal Fight MMA. Everything just kind of links through there. I post interviews that I'm doing with the guys, and then articles, and when I'm out, covering the shows or whatever. So yeah, go there. NorCalMixedMartialArts.com. And yeah, man, thank you for letting me on and having me on to chat about this shit, man. It's fun, and I like watching you guys from the comments section normally. So
no, I appreciate you coming on, dude. Dave, they can find you at Dave's MMA Brief. Of course, the Advocates. All the Twitters are right on the little blue thing here that I have on here. And of course, hit up the reptheadvocates.com for some gear. What was I gonna say? Yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday.
I was gonna mention just at the event last night, man. It was cool to run into the guys who run the Represent.
Oh, and Conquer 4, right?
Yeah, so they were out there. So it's just cool that it's fun to put the faces to the names.
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a brand ambassador too with it, and it's just a dope company, man. They have great shit, so I love sharing whenever you guys are putting stuff out. Like, yeah, man, rep this. So they're so nice and so cool. So it was great to meet them in person. And just another note with Christian Giovanni, he's on out of Nick Diaz Academy. Dude, all these guys, the voice, the style, he came out, man. His hands are up high like this.
Yeah,
Come
did
on,
you see that shit?
Come on, motherfucker. He started out like that shit, and the ref stopped him. The ref stopped him. He's like, no, we're not doing that.
Dude, I saw the picture of him at the weigh-in, just in the jeans and everything, just like, what up, bitch? I mean, it was so like Diaz. Like, those guys are, I mean, if you guys don't know, that whole thing, like they're legit. Those guys are a unit. I mean, when Nate Diaz says Nate Diaz is general, all those guys believe. You know what I mean? So that's a cool little unit that they have there. And
it's totally interesting with the amateur aspect. You know, you normally think like a boxer, you build them up, we get 300 amateur fights or whatever, and then you go pro. And MMA, I think they're trying to bite that style, you know, of like, let's build you up before you go pro. Not in the Nick Diaz Academy. There's this kid, his name's Olin Pettit. Mm-hmm. And he had his first fight, killed this guy. It was amazing. So sick. This kid's so talented. He's doing one more, going pro. I mean, these guys don't play around in the amateurs. They don't play around. They're there to fight. They all, like I said, they talk the same. They walk the same. They fight. Just so anyways, it was just great to, you know, put all that together and do that last night too. So
yeah, and shout out to Alan Sanchez. You know, David from Represent was actually live streaming his boxing fight. Or I think it was on Friday night on Instagram. I got to watch that. Bad dude. Got that by TKO. Sick motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
All right. Definitely. Shout out to the Represent guys. All right, fellas. We'll be back on Wednesday. Shout out to everybody that watches the show. The comment section, I kind of deleted that, or I kind of closed the comment section, so I apologize for everyone that tuned in. Appreciate it. Catch you guys on Wednesday. And, of course, as always, good night, Wiltshire.